Hello, everyone. I was just about to get up and pour myself a cup of coffee when I realized we were about to go live. How are you doing, Q?
Fine, and you?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm looking forward to the weekend, even though it's only Thursday.
Yeah, me too. uh, Hello, OXGGW.
Hey.
I don't know if I'm mispronouncing your username. So today we're continuing bento.me, and last time we were like doing the logic for the login with the Google authentication and the email and password. And today we'll do the design of the main screen that I will show to you again. And basically we'll do the navbar because the screen is pretty big. So it will take us like several lives to finish, but let's begin it right now. So as you see the main screen, so you've got my face or the user face, the name, the description, and the links the user posted. So again, yeah, if you're just jumping in, bento.me is kind of a link tree like services to share social networks and links to people. Um, but with a nice design. And the thing we're gonna do this time is like this navbar at the bottom to toggle between mobile, desktop, copy the link, adding links, and all this kind of other stuff.
Very smooth.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll be able to do the exact same animations, but we'll try. So first, I'm going back in the project. So last time, just as a reminder, yeah. So we've done the login. And obviously the demo effect, it's loading really slowly. Maybe it's my connection, so I will reload. Okay, I was locked out, obviously. Let me go back to the project. So bento. Yeah. Nice. So if I go back on the login page, I can log in by email or password, or if I begin to enter an email, I can log in with email and password, or I can sign in with Google. And then, so the logic is done with Xano. So you can watch this previous week live to know how to do this. But now we're going back to the homepage and we're gonna implement this navbar. So the navbar is sticky at the bottom. So what I will do is probably do a div for the content and a div for the navbar, and push the navbar to the bottom. Or I remember that now in layout, we have something with a bottom navbar, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So this bar, I will include the variable, remove the other section, and add the content above it. Yeah, so you see it's working. So I have this navbar that's always at the bottom. So this navbar, as it's in the layout, it's bound to a collection list, a variable that I won't use, so I will unbind it. And actually, I will remove the divs that are inside and keep it, just keep the div. I'll just add height for now so that we can see something. So height on 1 pixel is okay, we'll change this after. And first thing we're gonna do is create the three divs for the three elements of the navbar, because you see you've got this part on the left, this in the center, and this on the right. And to align them, we use three different divs. By the way, I will call this like the main container, and I will add my three divs. So here, div one, left, then second one, center. No, I was already zoomed in. Never mind. And then the last div, right. Oh,
And we usually recommend that you rename your blocks as soon as you drag and drop them on in the
yeah,
navigator, because then when your HTML tree becomes more complex, it makes it easier to find them because you can search
yeah.
um, through the tree.
And otherwise, I know that I never rename them after. So maybe people are like this, and then you're just with lots of divs that you don't remember what they are doing. What they are doing, basically. So we want them to be horizontal, and we want them to take to be auto for now. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll use the space between or the colon gap. I don't remember what we've done the last time. So maybe space. This, yeah,
Okay.
okay. Space between. So that it's actually on the left, on the right, and on the center.
And it's funny because a little backstage exclusive right before the live queue was saying, "I bet I'm gonna do it differently
Yeah, I
than
think I used
because on
columns last time.
exactly
No?
on Monday we did something similar for our French community, and yeah, you use columns. So but there's
Yeah.
both ways are good, which is it's always reassuring.
I'm not the same person between the Monday and the first day,
Yeah.
you know. So left is okay. So I just align them also on the secondary axis so that they're completely in the center of the div. And then what I will do is that I will begin with the left one. So it's an icon. This is a div that's completely flat with, I don't know if you see it, but there's like a line between the icon and community. And basically what we'll do is that we'll use a div that which will be flat and just use a border like left or right. It's the same thing to do the separation between the icon. And those are buttons basically that will use and that will improve to look like links. But you see, I will use buttons. Why? Because you've got this hover effect that looks like a button. It's really light, but basically it's like a button. So to do this, let me add an icon. Here, we'll change it. I think it's settings something. So let's go in our icons. And last time we found it the first time. I don't remember if it was settings. No. Okay, this one. Nice. The color is this grayish thing, so I will inspect it. Yeah, obviously I'm triggering the responsive. Yeah. So width is 16, height is 16, and the color is, if I go and compute it, yeah, okay, RGB 108. So sizes. I think last time we made it bigger because 16, because we don't have the exact same icons. So to compensate for this, we'll make it a bit bigger on the WeWeb. And for the color, it's this one. Yeah. So we had it already. What I will do right now also is like making, yeah, I will box the content and the navbar because it's like on big screens like mine, it will be way too large. So what I'll do is that the content, I will use the boxed 1300 pixels. Perfect. And for the bar, I can't. So what I will do is that I will add a new div above my container. I will throw the container inside this div. And this div will be boxed, maxed with, it's here, to the same size. Nice. Actually, not this div, yeah. Yeah, sorry. So auto, because we want like the biggest div to be available to be able to change the colors. Like, oh, sorry. If we were to like change the color only for the navbar or have the content still, show something on the sides. So we need a div that's actually the navbar that takes the full width, and the main container will be actually boxed with a max width of 1%.
You mean so that the main container can
Yeah,
have
I
a
can
different
still
color.
like,
Okay.
yeah, like if I were to display white, for example, here, I could still
Yeah.
do it. Nice. So it seems to be working. And then I think we've got some padding here that will. Okay, what's the padding of the content? It's a max width. So actually, I will check the icon. So know that it's only the. Okay, there's a small padding here, but it's only the max width. So the whole content has a full max width, but actually this thing here has also a padding. Let me take it. The margin is -4. Padding is 4. So yeah, I will add some padding on the left. Div padding 4 pixels. Nice. Then I will add the buttons. I will do this separator thing later because it's harder to do if there's no content around it. So I will do first the buttons. So to do this, I will drag and drop the button. Just bring me back the navigator. Is it in the left? Yeah, nice. So the text is community. Size is how much? So if I do font size is 12 pixels and font weight is 400, so normal. So 12. And 400 normal. Then I will check what's the padding of this thing. So if I go here on the button, there's a padding of 8 on the y-axis and 10 on the x-axis. So I will do the same in WeWeb. Padding is here. It was 8, and here it's 10. Nice. And what we'll do is that we'll actually remove the background color, switch the text to, actually it was the same gray. So yeah, this one. And add a hover state. And when we are hovering the button, we'll add the background color. So color is, just for the sake of it, I will use like a really strong color, so like blue, and then I will change because the color they are using here is barely visible even on my screen, so maybe on the live you're not seeing it.
Yeah, it's very, very subtle.
Yeah. So, but you see it's working. I have this blue color. It reminds me I have to change the corner radius, and it's 8 pixels if I remember well. Okay, so now the corner they are like rounded. And from what I saw, there's a 4 pixels margin on the left, so I will add this too. So on the left, 4 pixels. Nice. And then I will change the background color to the light gray. So hover, and it's kind of this thing or this. Yeah, it's really subtle. Yeah, it's this one. That's really hard to see. And the cool thing, because we're using no code, is that I can do Command V to copy paste and just change the text. So it was explore. Now I have both my buttons. Can also add the links though. So settings is doing this. So we'll have to do this, I think, next live, because we've done this on Monday, and we'll just finish the Navbar, and we'll do the logic in the next live. But do not worry, you will see the logic to do these buttons like desktop and mobile. So it's not only CSS today. But I will add the links. So it's a Discord link. Let me copy link address, just so that you see links in WeWeb. So type button, and actually,
Yeah, you were in the right spot. It's just
yeah,
below.
link to, yeah. You are opening a new page, yes. And explore is another link, URL, and that's it. So now we have to do the
And
small divider here.
and if you
Yeah,
go to
sorry.
preview mode, is the cursor pointer by default, or
Yeah,
yeah? Maybe you can just show where to, because I
change the
saw someone
cursor.
in the
Yeah.
community last week, no, on Twitter last week, who was really happy to find that setting. So it's kind of hidden, but you can actually,
Yeah, the cursor is so
yeah,
in
here, there,
style.
it's
It's here,
here.
pointer. So you've got lots of cursors that are actually, like, most of the time you use only the default one and the pointer, but you can have, like, for example, help. And if you do this, I think it's a question mark. Why is it not? Maybe because it's a button, it's forcing me. Maybe
Yeah.
let me show you here. But you can have like lots of cursors. Yeah, you see this question mark, and you can play with it. I mean, most of them, they are like, you can see them on MDN, and we'll maybe add them to the doc. But most of the time, you want to stay on auto, except if you wanna do as if your content was a link. You can use pointer, because that's the cursor you have on links, even if your content is not actually a link, but like a button that will trigger a JavaScript workflow, for example. And now this small divider, so I will use a small div for this, which I will drag and drop here. Also, this content, I want it to not wrap. This one, I don't want it to wrap too. And you see, so this div, what I'll do actually is add a margin of 4 pixels to the left. The width will be 0 pix, so that it's really flat. And WeWeb is still displaying a small div, like with some dashed lines, so that you can still see it. But when we go in preview, it's really like a flat div. So here we don't see it, but it's to help you select it and see it when you're like designing. And what we'll do is that we'll set border right or left is the same thing. So 1 pixel, 2 pixels maybe solid, and the same gray. And you see we have this big divider. So I will need to, I think there's a small one here. Yeah. So I will need to set the height and maybe make it 1 pixel. And the height, where's the height? Fixed. So I will reduce it. And make it a bit smaller than the content. And I need to align everything center here. I think it's not 1 pixels though, it's 2, because I really don't see it. Anyway, we won't make it pixel perfect, but yeah, I need to add some space and also make it rounded. So if I go here, corner radius, pixels 8, I will make it a bit smaller. Look.
Why do you need a radius on that?
It was squared here. I mean,
Oh,
we
okay.
almost don't
It's
see
because
it.
yeah, because I can barely see it.
Yeah,
That's why I can tell the difference. Okay.
and I think the color is not even this gray. It's the small gray.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it's more like this. So I will
Yeah,
need
that
to.
looks perfect actually.
Yeah, it's not entirely centered, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will change this next time because we just want to see. We won't spend the whole hour tweaking this. The main thing we'll do is actually this, and we're just going to do this. So like this white div with the three buttons. And to do this first thing is that for the main container here, we need to remove the background color and the border, set it to 0 so that it looks like the content. So we don't see the difference between the content and the navbar. And now what we can do is, I think we can actually use the center div itself as the container for the buttons. And what we'll do is that we set a background color of white. I will already set the corner radius to 8 pixels, and I think there's a border. Yeah, there's a light border that I will use. Maybe 1 pixels and gray, light gray. So yeah, we don't see it because there's no content in it. So let me add the buttons. So the first one will be copy my link. I think the font is not the same anymore. Let me check. Font size is 14 pixels and 600 of weight. So it's a bit bigger. 14 pixels. And 600 is semi-bold. Then, if it's like the other buttons, it's a padding of 8 and 10, corner radius of 8, but the color is a different green. So if I go on the, so it's not here, yeah, okay, RGB 78. You know what? Let me copy paste this because I will forget it. Oh, I can't. 78, 221, 118. So 7, 21, 18. Nice. Looks like it though. Nice.
Yeah, I really like that green.
Okay. So now what I will do is that I will paste it and change it.
One thing that I
So,
thought maybe before copy pasting, one thing that I thought could be cool is if you save the text as a typography.
mhm.
So that way, if you want to change it on one button, afterwards it will change on all the others, because
Buttons.
that's kind of another little
Yeah.
feature that people forget. Like we
Yep.
hide it. I don't know why we hide some features so we can keep surprising you and ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't want the Discord link, please. Nope. Nope. So desktop and mobile. Desktop, mobile. And both of them, they will have an icon on the left. So this one will be a computer icon. And this one will be a mobile icon. Nice. So what I will do now is design them like the mobile button because we'll use the new WeWeb states to trigger the difference. Because you see, when I'm clicking on mobile, desktop becomes black and white, and when it's active, it's the opposite. So what we'll do is that we'll design them both as if the design was black and white, and then we'll use states to change them. First, actually, I will use set a height, like a padding on the container, so that we see the white background. And the corner radius, yeah, okay. And then I will set some columns gap. Nice. Then I will copy paste what I've done for the divider, and I will set everything to center, and I will make it a bit bigger though, and reduce a bit space here. Remove it entirely, because we have the column gap. Okay, so now I want this text to be black. I want also this text to be black. And I want them to, so they have a small color on hover, but actually they don't have any on their normal state. So what I will do is that the background color, I will remove it. And on hover, I will add a really light, not border, sorry, background color. So like this one, and I will do the same here. So this one. So yeah, it's really hard to see, but it's working. And what I will do is that I will create a state to know if the preview is in desktop or mobile mode, and we'll actually use it later also to know if we should display the screen like this or like this. But for now, we'll just use it for the buttons. But before to do this, I will create a variable that will store the current state, the current value of the state. So I will remove this one. I don't need this anymore. I will add a new variable that I will call preview mode, which is text, and by default it will be desktop. Now I will create a state that I will call preview desktop. I will apply to children because I will need to change the icon too. And when it's true, we'll get back to the black background. So background is here, we'll set to black. The text color will be white, and the icon, I will use the parent state. So button is preview desktop, and when the parent is on this state, the icon will become white too. And now what we'll do is that we'll bind this state to preview mode is equals to desktop. So this, let me remove this. So this does, it's like if preview mode equals desktop, then it's true, otherwise it's false. But you can just write it like so, because it will always compare to like give back a Boolean, so true or false. And what this does is that if preview mode is desktop, give me true. If it's anything else, it will give you false.
If anyone in the chat finds that a little bit confusing, don't hesitate to ask, because these new states are, they're more complex than the previous ones. They're also much more powerful. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate.
That is the same as writing this. So if preview mode equals desktop, then it's true, otherwise it's false. But actually, this will always give true or false. So in the end, you're like asking the computer to do if true, true, if false, false. So you can just use it like that. And then for mobile, we will do the same. So a new state that we'll call is preview mobile. Variable will be equals to mobile. So here it's not the case, so it's false. And when it's the case, we want also to change the background color to black, the text to white, apply to children. Then on the icon, take the parents state and set it to white. And now we'll do some things that will add workflows to trigger state change when we are clicking on desktop or mobile. So I will add a workflow on desktop, the desktop button that it will rename to change preview to desktop. And the only thing we have to do is actually do a change variable value. Change the preview mode value to desktop. And on the mobile button, we'll do the same, except we'll switch to the variable to mobile. So switch preview to mobile. And change variable value, preview mode to mobile. I will display the variable here. So we will see here you've got preview mode. And when I'm going back on preview, like WeWeb preview, not the one we are like talking about here. So by default is desktop. So you see the state is activated, the button is black and the text is white. And if I click on mobile, it's the opposite because here you see it switch to mobile. And yeah, it's working. So that's the power of the states, actually. And the cool thing is that because it's bound to a variable, you can use these states elsewhere in your app. So we'll actually use it for the content.
Yeah, and I was thinking for the workflow as well. I guess you could have a global workflow and then have a parameter.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that actually. So let me create a workflow. This one is useless, so let's delete it. And let's call this one toggle preview mode. And then there's two ways to do this. Either you can have like a global workflow that takes as a parameter the value of the preview, or because we have only two values, desktop or mobile, I can also toggle between both. But let's be explicit. So switch preview mode. Let's call this new preview mode, which is the text. And what we'll do is do a change variable value, and we'll bind it to the parameter. So basically, I can like enter desktop here, and if I test, the variable is no desktop. If I do mobile, variable is mobile. So if I go back here, you see that mobile is in black. And now on my buttons, I will actually remove this step, but execute a global workflow, switch preview mode, and enter desktop, and do the same on mobile. Execute workflow, switch preview mode, mobile. And it's still working. So that seems a bit over-engineered for what we're doing, but the cool thing is that now if you want to add more logic in switching the preview mode, we can just edit this here, and we don't have to edit all the buttons because they are all using the same workflow. Okay. Now, I have to do this button. So here, I will add a new button. I will remove the texts And actually, the left or right icon is the same because we don't have any text anymore. I will switch the icon to a plus sign. This one, I will set it as white. I will set the background as black. I will also check the margins here. So, the padding is 8. So let me do this. Padding here is 8. The corner is 100%, so that is fully rounded. But it seems a bit small, so what I've done so it's 58 by 58, like 8 in width. So I will need to change this. So then I will say a width of 58. And for the 8, I can also fix it to 58 or just use the ratio 1:1, which makes a square. And because we have a corner radius of 100%, it's a perfect circle. And add maybe some padding, margin, on the right. So 4 pixels, maybe more. So it's beginning to look like it. The only thing is that it's not centered because I used space between. And I'm thinking maybe should have used the columns, or there's a way to force this. So let me think about this.
Yeah, and so that's because the div on the left is
Bigger, yeah.
is bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe columns.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just redo this with the columns. No worries. So let's remove the flex box. Let's set a max width to the columns. So and use for the left in the columns, center and right, and remove the main container. So now everything's weird, but do not worry. So take the full width. Now in this div, I will center everything on the left. This everything on the center. Okay, cool. And maybe not use the width auto. So I will need to remove actually this thing. No.
You're on the parent container right now.
Yeah, but I want, because there's lots of space here. And the GIFs, they are taking the whole space. So maybe... Yeah. Maybe I will need to use a second div here because the columns, they are already taking the full width. Always, but sorry.
So if you go on the left for container, for example, what do you have? Are you on auto? Or maybe if you switch to 100% for each of the...
It's auto is 100% right now.
Yeah, okay.
I know what I will do. I will center, I will add a div, and throw center in the div. Yeah. Okay, so now it's working. Because you see like the columns in a column. The column in the columns, they are always taking like 100%. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to drag and drop them like this. And now it's working. Nice.
Jack is saying sometimes he makes the divs 30% and set to expand. Yeah, I think I used to do that, but then I sometimes ran into issues where my divs had a bigger percentage than 100%. You know, with if I included the margins, for example. But yeah, it's another approach.
Yeah. And I think it's working.
And how are you doing, Jack, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I will just sit because I've been.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah. And yeah, I think everything's centered except this little thing. So I will add a bit more margin here. Okay, now. Ah, I forgot this actually. Like on the icon, I have on hover. We should have this gray thing also. So let me add this. I think he added some padding.
Jack is saying he's working in WeWeb right now. That's good. We can all just be
Nice.
building at the same time. What are you working on, Jack?
Color radius.
So you're adding the hover effect on the icon, right?
Yeah. And I removing my the margin I said before because there's padding on the icon, so it will look weird. And obviously I didn't set any color on this. So by default, I don't want a background color. But when it's on hover, I want a grayish thing. Yeah, okay, so it's working. And actually the cursor is not the right one, so you told us about it, but I will need to change it to cursor.
Jack is working on Folio DC.
Nice.
If I remember correctly, it's an art. It's some kind of an art gallery, right?
I will also change this because we don't see it. That's just tweaking the hovers. Yeah, that's better. I'm not following the same design exactly, but we do so that we better see the hovers. And yeah, I think that's it.
Nice. Looks good.
Yeah.
And Jack, so Folio DC is indeed related to art. It's like with announcing exhibitions. And just so you know, Jack, I don't know if you noticed already, but so collects the art events in DC. Very nice. And I don't know if you noticed, but when you type in foliodc.com without the www, it it fails. Like it doesn't redirect you to the www. So you might want to add the redirection.
You need to add this on your registrar, so the place where you bought the domain name.
Yeah.
And that should do the trick.
Hopefully. And we added a little bit of information on the user docs for domain names. So hopefully that helps
Ah,
as well for future
GoDaddy.
users.
That's why.
Yeah.
I don't know why GoDaddy is the biggest one in the US because honestly, setting it up is really hard. And they don't support yet, true.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck then.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure you can still redirect.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So
All right.
next
Cool.
week we'll continue on this. The rest of the page, which is actually the hard work, and then adding the logic, and hopefully we'll finish Bento.
Yes. And just in case you haven't seen the announcement, but we released the Academy yesterday.
Oh yeah,
And
nice.
if you want to check it out, and at the end of each video, whenever you like finish a video, we ask you like to rate the video and tell us how you would improve it. You don't have to answer every time, of course, but if there's do not hesitate. Basically, don't hold back on the feedback. The goal is to iterate and update the videos and make the academy as good as possible, so as helpful as possible. So yeah, don't hesitate to say when a video is not up to standards.
Nice.
All right, cool. I can hear the
Cool.
police is coming over to take you away.
Yeah.
So
They are often here, but yeah. Sorry for this. It's not me though.
thanks a lot, Q,
Yeah.
and we'll
Thanks.
see you all next week.
Bye.